lights are out for the 2021 season. And a problem there between Patrick Booth and Adam Jackson. And that will, safety car. Let's see what Josh can do. He's going to have a look on the inside line here. And he's got it. Great move down at Paddock Hill Bend. And it's Sam Kirkpatrick who opens the 2021 season with a win. Dennison goes through on the inside line. They're side by side. It's going to be a run to the flag. But no, Dennison is clear. James Dennison's made it through on the last lap. And Fergus Campbell relegated to second. But a rocket ship start for Doug Cole from row 3 up into third place. Cuts across into Paddock Hill Bend. He's got the lead. Well, Doug Cole has a spin. James Morton is having a look. Is he close enough to go through on the inside line? There is a gap there. There's the win. Kirkpatrick takes the win. It's going to be Fred Burgess in second place. Lights go out and we are Mangaletzi MG Trophy racing here at Donington Park. James Dennison looks down the inside line, the championship leader. And contact, and around goes Andy Heitman. A little bit of a lock up there, and that is Adam Jackson. The leads man gets a lock up and he's off. He's got flames under the car. Hopefully will be extinguished and he will be okay. And a lock up as it, I think John Booth in the 50 car went for the move, locks up. Safety car is out. Here is Josh Bacon, and coming through is Robin Walker. There's the checker. Kirkpatrick wins. Fred Burgess second. A super start from pole position from Sam Kirkpatrick, but what a cracker by Fergus Campbell, and it's Fergus Campbell, the 170, that leads them through into Old Hall for the first time. That was the start of the season for me so far in any of the classes that I've commentated on. Fred Burgess goes through though into the lead. He's having a go here down the inside line. There he is, goes through, down Cascades, right on the inside line. And it's a double again for Sam Kirkpatrick, a double at Brands, double here at Donington Park. Adam Jackson is third. Here comes Adam. This is Paul Croker, who will get a 160 class win on his return to the championship. Contact as they go around Coppice, and off goes James Cole. But the safety car has been scrambled. And Joe Delgado locking up and rides the curbs. That could have gone over. And Burgess is having a go, locks up very hard on the brakes. They don't touch. Super racing from the pair of them. Sam Kirkpatrick coming back at Fred Burgess, who looks like he might be going in too heavy. It's a hot half dozen for Kirkpatrick. Adam Jackson will take third place. There is Adam. The run round onto the main straight, goes through on the inside line. Tyler Ballard goes up into second position. Once again, James Dennison's third win of the season. So good to have a look back at what's gone on so far. We're now at Donington Park, and the points as we arrive here look like this. The championship led by Sam Kirkpatrick in the 190 class. The 170s led by James Dennison. And the 160 standard power class currently led by James Morton. Later on in the programme, we'll have the full coverage of Race 2. But before we get to that, let's have a look at the key moments of Race 1. Sam Kirkpatrick on pole position, Fergus Campbell leading the way in the 170s, and Paul Croker on pole in the 160s. Doug Cole gives us our first visuals of the race, and Sam Kirkpatrick challenged hard as they went down to Redgate on lap number 1 by Fred Burgess, with Adam Jackson attacking that outside line to grab an early third position. Doug Cole got stuck in, the leader's breaking away at this point, but Cole pops this move down the inside into McLean's corner to grab the lead. Jackson falling back into the clutches of Fergus Campbell leading the 170s. Fred Burgess on lap record-setting pace here, literally took the battle into the rear end of Sam Kirkpatrick's car. Close stuff, but as I said, Fred Burgess having to settle for second, but a new lap record on the way. As ever with big numbers, the racing in the 170 class was keen and inevitably led to some contact. Josh Bacon making contact there with James Dennison. The one thing we've learned about James this year is that he is fast And now we know that he also has a plan. His recovery was underway very quickly, initially passing Jack Chapman, the 2021 newcomer in the number 8 car. And then he sets about making a similar move on Patrick Booth in the 33. So Denison well on his way to recovery. Josh Bacon engaged with James Cole in a superb race-long battle. Makes the first move for position as they go down into the old hairpin, but James Cole holding on. It was the outside for him at the old hairpin, and he grabs the inside line to maintain the position as they go through Schwant's corner. A view of the battle from Tyler Ballard, who's making progress himself. Josh Bacon, the man immediately in front of us. This battle continues race long. Bacon keeps at it and finally makes his move, this time around the outside line at Schwant's and into McLean's. Job done by Josh Bacon. Tyler Ballard then took up the mantle and he challenged James Cole as well. The successful move coming along Exhibition Straight, a good run out of the double apex Coppice corner and down into the chicane. James Morton was P2 in qualifying for the 160s, and here he is exercising the move of Paul Croker to move into the class lead and take the win ultimately, but it was a red flag that brought the race to a close due to this upcoming incident between Josh Bacon and Paul Savage, the two of them making contact exiting the chicane. And sadly, this event brings out the red flags. Never good to see damage to cars. Thankfully, both drivers okay, but it means that the race was stopped and the result declared. Sam Kirkpatrick winning for the 7th time on the bounce from Fred Burgess and Doug Cole. Fergus Campbell winning Class B from Tyler Ballard and James Cole. And the honours in Class C, the 160s, going to James Morton.
Sam, a familiar conversation we're having now. Great podium win there, and success after success, but I was looking at the timescales there. Fred was on your case.
Yeah, it was a close one there. He was all over the back of me, but managed to keep him behind and get another win.
I'm not sure. I think he's learning even quicker when he's watching your lines and so forth. He's a very good, talented driver as it is, but keeps the pressure on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's good at keeping the pressure on, but yeah, I've been fighting my best to keep him behind.
Fred, great result there. Yet more points for the championship. Only half a second between you and Sam.
Yeah, it was a close race. Sam did well in qualifying. I didn't really get a clean lap. There was a lot of traffic around, and then in the race, I had the pace on him, putting him under some pressure. Just a shame the race was called short. Really, I ran out of any time to really make a serious effort at getting past. But yeah, it was a good race.
Doug, a familiar face on the podium there, helps with the points. How was that race for you?
It was all right. I was just starting to. I'd made a couple of little errors in the first bit and managed to sort of drop a bit, and then I actually caught them up. I was actually catching them when the red flag came out, so it's a bit of a shame. But yeah, it was a bit sort of screwy in the first lap or so. Fred nearly put me off. It was okay.
Fergus, great to see you again. Class winner. That can't be bad.
Fantastic. It was a great race. I got a good start, and I was able to follow some of the 190s early on in the race, which helped. And there was quite a bit of squabbling going on behind. Great shame with the red flag, but happy to get the result anyway.
Great to see Fergus Campbell taking his second 170 class victory of the season. We now look ahead to race 2. Number of returning drivers to the championship this weekend, but of course the championship always strengthened by new drivers into the competition, and one of those is Jack Chapman, the teenager from Chelmsford.
So Jack, we caught up with you last time at Brands Hatch, and that didn't go so well for you. Just tell us about the aftermath of that.
Basically, I found out there was no compression in a piston, and when I took the head off with British Legends, I had a hole in the piston, which wasn't good. We basically replaced a couple of pistons, and now she's back running again, sweet as ever.
Now, race 1 out of the way, you did pretty well on that. I mean, considering you've only been with this championship for, say, 4 events, I mean, you're making your mark pretty quickly.
Yeah, last race wasn't too bad. Got 4th at Silverstone, which I feel was a good result. Thanks to John Dammy Racing for helping me with the setup. If it wasn't for them, the car wouldn't be where it was. Also, British Legends, they helped me with the setup as well. All to do with the engine. It was very good.
It's a good point, actually. It's all right being talented behind the wheel, but without the support team and sponsors behind you, that you just don't get on track.
No, not really. No.
So Donington itself, scorching hot weather. I mean, we've got one race out of the way. How has it been for you out there, and have you done this one before?
I've done this in 750 Motor Club low costers, but obviously that's a real drive car, completely different driving experience.
So you've done quite a lot of motor racing before in other championships, but why the MG Trophy? And obviously you've come in on the 170 class, which is one of the largest classes.
It's a brilliant, from an outsider to look in and watch the racing, it was fantastic to watch on the TV, and I thought I just really want to have a go at that. Now being here myself, talking to all the paddock, it's a lovely place to be, especially Bruce. He makes you all well invited, he talks to you all the time. It's a brilliant championship to race for.
Josh, we caught up with you a couple of rounds ago. Donington Park now, I mean, sunny weather, it looks ideal. How was race one for you?
Race one was actually my best result so far. We finished 4th in class, a very fortunate 4th. But yeah, very good race, got off to a good start. At one point I was challenged more or less for 2nd place, so yeah, a big improvement from previous rounds, so really happy with it.
Is it quite a fast learning curve as a driver? Because obviously you're going to all the iconic circuits during the season, it's a fast learning curve.
Yeah, you really have to get yourself up to speed quite quickly with the sort of competitiveness of everyone else, so yeah, it's a big learning curve for me with my first season, but really enjoying it so far.
What have you done before?
I did a few races with my dad in some classic car racing, but yeah, nothing in comparison to this.
I was going to say, this is totally different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot more close wheel action, shall we say. You don't get a moment in this sort of stuff.
But that's all the fun, that's the addiction and attraction.
Exactly, yeah, and I'm really, really enjoying it, so yeah, it's been great.
Guy, we've seen you for most of the events this year. We haven't seen you at Silverstone, which I believe was down to work commitments there. But how you find Donington?
Yeah, I mean the track I really enjoy so far. We did some testing on Friday. That didn't go too badly. And then obviously qualifying in the first race yesterday. Wasn't as successful as we'd hoped for. We're struggling a little bit for pace at the moment. We think we've got a few small engine-related, power-related issues with the car, which we're working on. Some work was done overnight, so hopefully we can find a bit of pace today and yeah, get a bit closer to the others, all being well.
First season for you. You're in the Class C, or the 160s as we refer to it. How have you found it so far, and how have you developed as a driver?
Yeah, it's really good fun. Everyone's really friendly, really helpful, to be fair. The racing's been really good. But yes, getting used to it, getting used to the car, how it handles, the difference. I mean, I did a lot of kart racing, so it's certainly very different from that. But yeah, really enjoying it, and hope to continue and do some more next year, all being well.
A lot of people come from kart racing into circuit racing, but it's a totally different sort of racecraft, really, isn't it? So a lot to learn about handling and so forth.
That's it. Yeah, definitely. I mean, karts are obviously so very responsive. Obviously you got just the rear wheel braking, and yeah, handling was completely different. So it's really getting used to weight transfer and yeah, how to drive one of these compared to driving a kart. But it takes a bit of learning. But yeah, like I say, really enjoying it.
So Mike, you and I haven't caught up before, but you're quite familiar to the MG Trophy. You've had a dabble over the last few years.
Yeah, I've been in the trophy for about 8 years now, I think. I'm mainly in Class B, and about 3 years ago decided to make the jump into the 190s. Did a few rounds that year, and then I did some rounds in 2019, and then haven't been back since due to everything that's happened in the world. So just first round back out today.
So you, like you say, first round this season. So are you a bit rusty? Have you fell straight back into it?
I thought I was a bit rusty, but I managed to out-qualify all the 170s, which for the first time out in a couple of years I thought was pretty much as good as I could hope for. So I was quite happy with that. Still a few seconds to go to actually catch up on a few of the younger lads who've appeared in the 190 class since I've been gone. So we'll see how that goes.
It's actually true. I mean, we've covered this a few years ourselves, and a lot of young blood that's come in.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean talented, but there does happen to be a lot on the grid. So that makes you have to sharpen your wits up a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, at the moment, I still need to get back on terms with the car and get back on terms with sort of the racecraft and the early stages of the race. Really, it's really what let me down yesterday. The early stages, so I got caught up with some of the 170s. So if I can get that sorted, then hopefully I can learn from the guys who are at the front and sort of get a bit of a toe. So.
Well, Phil, very pleased to see a familiar face. Not seen you since, what, 2018, something like that?
Snetterton 2018.
Where have you been?
I had a small operation on my heart. They decided to cut it open and change a valve, and lo and behold, I'm back. It's taken me a little time to recover and a little bit of time to convince the wife that it's absolutely safe for me to go in a race car. Safer than being on the road, I convinced her eventually. So, and didn't manage to get enough time to get the car sorted out this year. Was meant to be at Silverstone, and on the Tuesday before Silverstone, the engine let go on the rolling road. So I wasn't able to make Silverstone. So made it here, new engine, and here I am. So, yeah.
Well, you certainly look well on it and energised. So, was the car just collected dust in a barn, or was it?
No, during 2019, Fred Burgess raced it in 2019, which was his inaugural full year, and then
thrashed it
and thrashed the proverbials off it. It's still got, you know, scars on the side of it from Fred. Although I did collect some scars myself yesterday, so yeah, it was all right. And I was told by Jason Burgess, who is the founder member of Carrot Racing, that on Friday testing, if I didn't get told off by the marshals, then I hadn't tried hard enough. And in my first race, if I didn't get any black stuff on the side of the car, I also wasn't trying hard enough, and I achieved both. So it was a good day, good day. So looking forward to
great
this
motivational
race.
Speech by your colleagues there.
Yeah, that's one word for it. Yes. Yeah.
So, in all seriousness, have you found it? I mean, were you rusty coming back into this? 'Cause,
very,
I mean, it's changed a lot as regards to competitiveness.
Yeah.
Lots of newer and experienced drivers as well.
There's some young guns, and you know, I'm over 50 now, so you know, it doesn't necessarily is not an excuse, but these young guns, they got no fear and they go for it. So I just need some more time in the car and I'll be fine. But you know.
So, Joe, we normally catch up with some good positive news or podiums or something like that. Now, on my way over here, I spotted an engine. Suddenly discovered it was yours. What's the story behind that?
Yep, so I had a bit of an issue Friday. You went out for the first test session and figured out the timing was off on the engine. Brought it in, fiddled around with it, but went to try to start it up and bent a few of the valves, cracked the liner as well. So, yeah, it was also just going around the paddock after that, begging to see if anyone had an engine we can borrow for the weekend. But in the end, Phil Tomlinson, new son called Steve McDermott, he assembled an engine that afternoon and brought it up for us and helped us fit it. So it was a late night Friday night, getting it in, and Saturday morning was plumbing it all in, making sure everything was all right, ready for qualifying.
That's, I mean, that's incredible, really. Not only in that time scale, obviously lots of long hours there and so forth, but I mean, if I had an engine go, you can't really get much more serious than that. I'd be packing up going home, but that shows the camaraderie in the paddock, in the fact that someone's willing to help that's actually competing against you.
Yeah, I mean, it's very competitive in this championship, but everyone also wants to see everyone racing. Like, there's a lot of money to come here, but everyone, so no one wants to waste that, and everyone would rather have everyone else out there. So, yeah, it's a good, friendly bunch. So they've been a great help.
Having said that, it does actually work, does it?
Yep, yeah, it's going strong. Yeah, it's a good, strong engine. We found out in race one it was on par with all the others. So, yeah, I just want to say a big thank you to Phil for sourcing the engine and Steve for building it and bringing it down, and then my parents for fitting it and, yeah, staying up late and doing it all, and basically anyone else who came over and helped.
James, it's been great racing so far here at Donington, but just tell us about your season so far and how you've progressed with your driving skills.
Season so far, it started really well. We had 2 wins, 2 poles and 2 fastest laps at Brands Hatch, so that was really great. We went to Alton Park after that, which wasn't so great because the engine blew up in the first race, second lap of the first race actually. So brand new engine we had Silverstone then. Silverstone was pretty good. It was hot like today and it was pretty hard on the car, but we got a win and a second, so that was nice. And today wasn't so good. It looks like we had more engine issues, unfortunately. But yeah, final round at Snetterton in August, September even. And yeah, hopefully we'll be back nice and strong with a good engine there.
So the season itself's been fairly up and down, but you've learned just about everything there is to learn as regards to technicalities, bad luck issues and stuff like that. What about your racecraft?
I think the racecraft has come on because before this, when I did one round in 2019, I did the kind of truncated 2020 season. There wasn't much wheel-to-wheel action. So it just transpired that it ended up being that I didn't do that much really close racing, but this season there's been nothing but close racing. So that's been really good to kind of learn about, okay, not just how to be fast, but then how to actually go past people, defend against people and race and not, have big crashes, which you don't want to do.
Very much a learning year then for the man who leads the 170 class in the championship, James Dennison. Tyler Ballard second in the championship standings for the 170s. Third is Fergus Campbell, and fourth this man, Josh Bacon, coming around on the reconnaissance lap, or installation lap, call it what you will, ready to take up the grid. Fergus Campbell on pole today though. Fergus running third, as we said, in the Standish 170s. Outright pole, Sam Kirkpatrick. Fred Burgess, the new lap record holder, is in second. Doug Cole third. Adam Jackson fourth. Mike Harris, who we heard from, is fifth on the grid. So the 170s headed by Fergus Campbell from Tyler Ballard, Josh Bacon, James Dennison fourth. Josh Bromley is fifth from Paul Savage, then James Cole and Jack Chapman, followed by Patrick Booth. Class C, James Morton, yesterday's race winner, on pole position in car with James. Paul Croker second from John Donnelly, and Guy Tolley fourth on the grid in the standard power class. Riding on board there with the 78 James Morton, the man from Downham Market. 30 years of age is James, celebrated his birthday back in June, and actually unbeaten so far in the championship. He wasn't with us at Alton Park, but all the races that he has done has taken the class win. And he when we were at Brands Hatch, I felt he was very lucky, but clearly some skill in the mix. It's all of the classes very good, very competitive, and a good grid put together once again by the MG Car Club. The MG Trophy Championship continues to thrill us all and attract new drivers, and as you heard as well, returning drivers. Good to hear from Mike Harris and Phil Tomlinson. Andrew Heron is back with us as well, the ex-junior dragster competitor. Hopefully we'll get a shout with Andrew a little bit later on. Meanwhile, the lights go out on round 8 of the championship here at Donington Park. We might be speaking too early, but Sam Kirkpatrick with the possibility of wrapping up the championship. There's a little bit of contact in the 170s, and it's Kirkpatrick that leads. Fred Burgess in second place. They all go around Redgate, always a nerve-wracking moment. You can see how close it is. In car with Tyler Ballard. Tyler running well, makes a good start as they sort themselves out on lap number 1. A little bit of dust being kicked up in the background. Fred Burgess will be able to improve on the lap record again, so putting Sam Kirkpatrick under pressure, the Cumbrian 20-year-old, still out front. Points-wise, 94 playing 78 points between the pair of them, so still relatively close. Doug Cole running in third place. Fourth position is Fergus Campbell, looking to try and make it a double win this weekend. There in 37 is Mike Harris, as you heard, running in the 190 class. 2 fourth places, his best results in the championship. Josh Bacon is passed by Adam Jackson, so Jackson making up a little bit of ground, having lost out from fourth on the grid in amongst the 170s, but now has got to try and hunt down the 170 class leader, Fergus Campbell, as the cars come across the line. So Kirkpatrick doing what he's done all year. So too, though, is Fred Burgess, chasing hard, and he has had the pace, Fred Burgess. I think probably in terms of comparisons, Burgess with less racing experience than Sam Kirkpatrick. Sam is the younger one of the two. Outside line there for James Dennison, getting stuck in. Gets forced wide, racing hard there with Jack Chapman. Chapman through on the inside line, and Jack Chapman with 6th position in race 1, 4th at Silverstone race 2, so edging towards a podium. And remember, he's had some engine problems in that car, so now he's getting the car running properly. He'll be looking to try and get some decent laps in and try and haul it up the grid. Patrick Booth on board here, the 33 car. 8th position in race number 1 in class for him, and a great battle going on ahead of Patrick Booth. James Dennison up ahead of Jack Chapman here. Patrick Booth getting stuck in the 170s. Quick look in the mirror, he's got cars fighting out behind him, and he's got a battle on his hands here to try and deal with the number 8 car of Jack Chapman. Jack busy defending at the moment. That's 3rd place in class. The outright lead, though, being disputed by Sam Kirkpatrick. And now coming to the outside line, Fred Burgess. Fred trying to get a run in. This is going to be brave. They're both being egged on from the pit lane. Close racing here. Fred needs to get the job done before they get into Redgate, can't quite do it, might possibly go for a cutback if there's room, because if you can gain that momentum into the corner, that's what Fred's thinking is, and he goes down the inside line. It's a clatter, bang go the mirrors, side by side, and Fred Burgess has got the lead at Hollywood, now down through the Craner curves, heading towards the old hairpin. The one thing we know about Kirkpatrick is that he will fight back, and the door is open. There's a wobble from Burgess, and Burgess is off wide. Into the gravel, out of the gravel, momentarily it was in the gravel. Thankfully the cars can dig in and roll over there, seen so many of those, and Burgess is down to third, make that fourth place because Adam Jackson goes through. Here's the in-car from Doug Cole. I'm just grateful, and Fred Burgess will be grateful the car didn't bed into the gravel because it's so easy to go over. We've had one rollover already at this meeting. Burgess now down in fourth place. That is surely going to be race over and possibly championship over for the Lincolnshire man as we ride with James Dennison. And you can see in the mirror cam Jack Chapman right behind him, but not for long because Jack's having a go and goes through on the inside line. Superb move. Dennison, we know, will fight back. So out of Schwantz, into McLean's, gap there, but not quite close enough at the moment to get that position back. This is for third in class. Superb stuff. Fergus Campbell and Tyler Ballard ahead of them at the moment. We can't see them because this is where the action is. Great big train of 170s plus the 190 car of Mike Harris back with us as well. And Mike bedding himself back into the championship. Josh Bromley, look at the eyes, look at the crash helmet looking from side to side, and superb awareness from him. But third position in the 170s at the moment held by Jack Chapman, the 19-year-old from Chelmsford, first season driver in the MG Trophy Championship. Raced in the 750 low costs as you've already heard, but decided to switch across that. A very welcome addition, as indeed all our new drivers are. Josh Bromley down the inside line here of Patrick Booth. Side by side they go, they're giving each other room. Booth on the outside line might get a little bit more momentum. Through Hollywood, down into the Craner curves again. Booth's got the line here. I thought they were going to touch. Goodness me, close racing between the pair of them, but it's the inside into the old hairpin for Josh Bromley. Home tarmac for him, comes from Hilton in Derbyshire, but runs off the track, kicks up the dirt. Patrick Booth will come back. We've got Doug Cole second, there is Adam Jackson. Fourth place is Fred Burgess, who has, as ever, got the bit between his teeth and trying to close down on Adam Jackson in the white 190. In car again with Josh Bromley. This continued battle with Patrick Booth. Looks on the inside. This is Coppice corner. He'll tee up maybe a run down Exhibition Straight. Must check and see whether it's still called Exhibition Straight. The Exhibition long gone now. Old habits die hard, don't they? So Bromley didn't get the run. So he'll have to look at Patrick Booth. John Booth, by the way, was hoping to be with us this weekend, but COVID in the family means that he couldn't make it for safety reasons. Obviously, we wish the family well. Look forward to seeing him back on track very, very soon indeed. Great race, as ever, from the MG Trophy Championship. And there is Booth, but runs wide, and Bromley is going to have a look down the inside line. I think there's going to be contact, isn't there, at some point between these two. It's been clean and fair so far. They're giving each other racing room and giving each other tantalising opportunities. Talking of tantalising, Fred Burgess coming through. This is for third place. Adam Jackson runs a little bit wide. Burgess has been the fastest man on track race-wise. Goes through and takes it. Sam Kirkpatrick double pole, but Fred Burgess' race pace has been quicker. And Burgess through into third place. Meanwhile, Joseph Delgado now up with Josh Bromley. We had seen Joseph down behind Mike Harris earlier on, and he's passed him. You see Mike Harris in the red car with the orange sunstrip, which denotes the 190 horsepower category. And this is the great thing from Mike. He might not be up with the podium pace at the moment on his return to the championship with the likes of Doug Cole, who's here, but he does get a race with the podium battlers in the 170s. Now the 72 car, that's Andrew Heron from Middlesex, 27-year-old, former junior dragster competitor. Great to see him back. It's a reshelled car, had damage at Snetterton last year. We didn't cover last year due to COVID, but he did a couple of meetings with us and retired with damage as round the outside for second position goes Fred Burgess on the outside of Doug Cole. So Doug down to third, and he's got Adam. Doug will now revisit the battle he had with Adam Jackson in race number 1. And Burgess, is he closing on Sam Kirkpatrick, the race leader? The Cumbrian in the lead, potentially could wrap up the champion. Burgess knows that. Burgess knows the mathematics of this. Here we come again. Super battle between Bromley and Booth. It's been an absolute cracker between those two so far. Of course, they do squabble, and it allows the other cars to get away somewhat, which is not really what they want, but they will enjoy their races. Josh Bacon is being challenged now by Tyler Ballard. So they pass the Andrew Heron car. And the 36, all the way with the finger there from Josh Bacon. Now, what I said I think was the battle for third place, actually fourth in class, because Fergus Campbell's still out front. Josh Bacon and Tyler Ballard dicing over second and third. So that's the perspective there. Fred Burgess getting away from Doug Cole. Doug at the moment cannot get away from Adam Jackson. So those two there, Doug Cole in the two-tone blue car and the white machine of Adam Jackson in 79. Jackson's best result so far this year, second place at Silverstone race 1, round 5. James Dennison trying to get back on terms with Jack Chapman. Oh, and a spin into the gravel for Phil Tomlinson, the returnee. Glad to see him doing well health-wise. He was engine builder for the Carrot Racing team before getting involved himself, and good to see him back on track. Here's Josh Bromley again. Josh down the inside line of that 37 car, and is that a familiar look? You have to say, I think that's a couple of times Josh has done that. So runs a little bit wide on the grass, gets it all back on track. Here's the battle again between Jack Chapman and James Dennison. James is relentless, isn't he? Following him wheel for wheel. He'll wait for an opportunity. I'll tell you what, it takes some doing, racing that close at these speeds, and Dennison just trying to work out where there might be a slightly better bit of performance from himself over Jack Chapman. Jack with a non-classified and 1 DNF this year, didn't start race 2 at Brands Hatch due to those engine maladies that you heard about. Now Tomlinson's car still in the gravel. I'm surprised they haven't scrambled the safety car as a result of that. We've got waved. The safety car board is out, so the organisers, the race officials, have taken the decision to put the safety car out. Phil Tomlinson's car. We don't want anybody else going into that. It could well get damaged. This is not great news for Sam Kirkpatrick, but Fred Burgess will be pleased because he'll have the chance to close in. And safety car's always a double-edged sword. Great for spectators if there's a gap, but not so good as we look at James Morton. Quick moment to reflect on the standard power 160 brake horsepower class, which is led by James Morton, 30 years of age, from Downham Market, looking for a 6th class win of the season. So time for us to take a little bit of a breather. That was good stuff there from Sam Kirkpatrick. Slowed up, as you do for the safety car anyway, but he'd seen that coming out, and Sam Kirkpatrick won't be best pleased at having the lead that he has built and earned, worked hard to do that, negated over Fred Burgess. Now, Fred, for whatever reason, had that little errant moment. I suspect he might have been looking in his mirrors, but he had a lot of momentum after taking the lead away from Sam Kirkpatrick, but now he's got a second bite of the cherry, and he knows he's got the race pace. Lap record in race 1, fastest lap thus far here in race 2. Safety car lights are still on, nicely closed up. The ranks of the 170s, the biggest class in the championship. Nice to see Robin Walker there as well. I haven't seen Robin so far today, running in the 190s too, and Josh Bacon looking at the back end of Tyler Ballard. Get a move on, he says. Let's go. Let's get ready to go. Sam Kirkpatrick. The youngsters know all the tricks, don't they, in racing? They have all the experience. They watch a load. They soak up the information from watching all levels of racing, and he knew exactly when to go. Great start by him, but Fred Burgess I don't think has been caught unawares. He knows that the gap that he had before the safety car has been negated, and he has some race pace here. So let's see whether Fred Burgess can take the race to Sam Kirkpatrick. As I say, bad news for Sam, but great news for us watching the race. Doug Cole in third, Adam Jackson is in fourth place, Fergus Campbell leading the 170s. Josh Bacon in the mix as well. Tyler Ballard is up ahead. So again, down through the crane occurs. This is where Fred Burgess had his little errant moment, and he'll have learned from that. If you make a mistake, it's all well and good in racing as long as you learn from it, and drivers like Fred will. And look how close he's getting to Sam Kirkpatrick now, coming up into Schwantz corner. That's the run around to the left, and Burgess very close indeed, runs a little bit wider, might be able to get the cut back on the run up in towards Coppice corner as they come through McLean's. Through go the 160 runners. Look back from Josh Bacon, Jack Chapman right behind him, kicks up a little bit of dirt into the face of James Dennison. I think James still chasing him. There is the number 8 car. Nice to see the BLR car getting a nice amount of airtime with us today. Burgess again, not afraid of the outside line, coming down in towards the chicane. Wasn't quite there, but just wants to show his nose on the outside, just to let, as if Sam Kirkpatrick needed telling that he was going to have a go for it. Here comes Robin Walker, Patrick Booth next up. Mike Harris has got in between the 33 car and the 97 of Josh Bromley, so close between those two. Great racing once again. Fred Burgess now has got the chance to maybe take a first win of the season. I think the championship is certainly looking the way of Sam Kirkpatrick at the moment. Kirkpatrick with a length or so lead at the minute, but here comes Fred Burgess closing up along Starkey Straight, looks on the inside line into Schwantz Curve. He's got that inside line, but can he manage to consolidate that before they get into McLean's? And the answer is no, because coming back is Sam Kirkpatrick, gets the lead back, gains a bit of momentum. You can see Fred's got his mirrors full of Doug Cole and Adam Jackson as well, so he's got to look behind. Uphill they go into Coppice corner. This is the penultimate lap of the race. The top four all together, a little bit of a gap back to the 170 class, who are having a fantastic scrap themselves. Here come the race leaders though. Fred Burgess shows his nose to the outside line. Jackson looking to do the same on Cole. Side by side into the chicane. Cole might be able to nip up into second here. No, Burgess realises what's going on, slots back in behind Kirkpatrick. He'll try and get a run along the straight and maybe have a dive on the inside if there's room, perhaps into Redgate onto the last lap. And it's Kirkpatrick leading. Here comes Burgess. Is he going to have a look? I don't think he's far enough, or close enough, I should say, to the race leader. Here's the battle in the 170s. Fergus Campbell up front. Second position, Tyler Ballard. Third place at the moment, Josh Bacon. Then Jack Chapman and James Dennison in the mix as well. The winner will come from those five. Looking good, though, for a double for Fergus Campbell. Here comes the four-way battle for lead position now, and running wide there. A little bit of a wide moment and a loss of momentum for Kirkpatrick, and his contact with Kirkpatrick as he moved across slightly on Fred Burgess. You can see he hits the rumble strips, comes back on and just tags Burgess, who spins round. It's game over. Surely it will be Kirkpatrick's championship now. Fred will be so frustrated about that. But it's Kirkpatrick, the race leader. Tyler Ballard looking to chase for the lead here. Through Schwantz, up into McLean's. Josh Bacon in third place. Three-way battle now for the lead. And here comes Ballard on the outside line as they come up into Coppice. Good run uphill, and you can see Campbell's car behind him in the mirror. He's got the lead. Tyler Ballard has got the lead in the 170 class. Here comes the overall battle for the lead. Doug Cole thinks about having a go into the chicane. I'm not sure he's going to be able to do it, and it's the Wheatsheaf Garage car that will take the win, and I think provisionally the championship too. Sam Kirkpatrick takes the checkered flag. 8 wins out of 8 starts. Here come the runners in the 170s. It is going to be Tyler Ballard who takes the win, but it's a drag race for third position in class, and Jack Chapman just does it on the line. It was Ballard from Campbell, Chapman third, Josh Bacon in fourth, got done right at the end of the race. What a thrilling finish to round 8 of the 2021 MG Trophy Championship. I think we're looking at a provisional champion. We'll get confirmation for that for you a little bit later on. But Sam Kirkpatrick takes the win from Doug Cole and Adam Jackson. Hard lines to Fred Burgess in that one. Great stuff from Tyler Ballard to take a last lap victory in the 170s. And James Morton, unbeaten still, 6th win of the season for James Morton. Super stuff. Let's join Barry with the winners.
Sam, congratulations, 2 out of 2. Fantastic race there. Now, first part of that pre-safety car, you made it look easy, long distance ahead and so forth. But suddenly, restart again, everyone was on your tail.
Yeah, I'd managed to break the toe before the safety car after Fred had ran wide, and then saw the safety car and was a bit worried. Then they closed up, and my front started to go off a lot at the end as well. I was struggling to get around a lot of the corners, and the toe was pretty massive up the hill, so every lap he was there or thereabouts. So it was a hard fight, that one.
I've got to say that, just referring quickly to the safety car, I don't see many drivers be as courteous as you were. You almost had to pull up to wait for him to come out. Not sure technically what would have happened. You could have got another lap in.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what the rules on that one were, so I thought I'd just slow down just in case. Didn't need to win that one for the championship, so I thought I'd not risk getting disqualified by doing something, so I thought it was worth slowing down and letting it get past.
Doug, with me again. We spoke about consistency. You've got it every single event we go to. Second place, not bad at all.
Yeah, not bad. I had a bit of an issue first, early part of the races because we had some different tyres in front and they took a bit of a while to come in. And they've cooked them a little bit, so the safety car helped me. But after that, I was completely zoned and on it, and I was catching Fred and Sam, followed them, and there was a bit of a coming together at the bottom of the hill, and I was all over Sam. So another lap, and I'm convinced I would have had him, but he drives a very wide car, and it was 0.3 of a second at the end of it. Fair comment, and a car that was not damaged. But yeah, good.
From a spectator point of view, it was a good race to start off with, but it's not the closest I've ever seen. But it's, like I say, it's a post-safety car. It's like someone's flicked an electric switch. Everyone was right on it.
Yeah, I mean, we were straight on it straight away. I mean, I was a bit worried about Fred actually, because when just before the safety car, he dropped back massively, and I actually overtook him as the safety car boards came out. So I gave him it back. So I wasn't convinced that his car was running up because he dropped back low. He must have dropped back sort of 10 or 12 car lengths straight away within a quarter of a lap. So I thought there might have been a problem with him. So I was a little bit worried. But when we took the restart, I was on it and fully up to speed, and just here we go, just keep with them and try and see if we can make something happen. And unfortunately, well, glad for me, they made it happen themselves by having a bit of a coming together at the bottom of the hill, which I think was 6 to 1 and a half to the other. I mean, Fred had a really good run out the old hairpin, went down the outside, up the left once, and then Sam just moved over, didn't see him because he reckoned he had his mirror. Well, his mirror was gone. They lost that on the first lap in the Craners, but Sam moved over a little bit, but I think there was nothing too much in it. I don't know really. It's one of them things that you move over, and I just was lucky I never hit Fred because you just straight past the front of me. Literally, I hadn't even blinked, so there'd have been a big shunt. Otherwise, if it had been sort of 2 foot this way, there'd have been a massive shunt.
Adam, second half of that race was very exciting to watch from a spectator point of view. What was it like from a driver?
Very warm, very warm. It was hot in the car, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was good to be mixing it up, the top 4 all to be right there with each other. Yeah, really enjoyed it. It was just a bit warm, and the car was overheating, so that was a bit of a downer. But yeah, we made good progress this weekend, I think, apart from the disappointment in race 1. But yeah, enjoyed it.
What happened in race 1?
Opening lap, I went wide on the first corner, and maybe the tyre went up to full pressure, and by the time I got to the old hairpin, I'd got a puncture. So I had to bring it around the rest of the lap. I did manage to change it and get back out, but it was shortened anyway, so.
Tyler, what a fantastic end to the race there. I thought Fergus had it, and then suddenly you came up and not only closed the gap but got past.
Yeah, obviously a lap prior I knew there was only 40 seconds left of the race, so I knew I had to try and make a move at some point on the lap, and managed to get the outside line on the exit of Coppice, and obviously have the run down the straight. So yeah, I wasn't sure I'd made it until obviously after the chicane, so I thought he might stick his nose in, but yeah, he didn't, so good.
As soon as the safety car went, everyone was just going for it, weren't they?
Yeah, it was sort of a couple of lap dash, wasn't it? So it was a bit mental, but yeah, sort of the safety car played for me a little bit. Obviously, got me on the back of Fergus. So
good weekend overall.
Yeah, great weekend. Yeah, great weekend.
So Snetton next. You've done that one before, haven't you? How did we fare last time?
We wasn't. Last year, I think we got a first and a second there. So it's not my favourite track. This is my favourite track, but yeah, we're still work with it. Obviously, it's squeaky bum time for the championship, so hopefully we can get some good points there.
Fergus, what a race. I was watching that for first half of it. I thought he's got this one on the bank, and then suddenly safety car, post-safety car, everyone just suddenly switched on, was on your case straight away.
Yes, another safety car. Chicane sort of caught people out a little bit this weekend, so Phil's car looks like it's okay, which is the main thing. But yeah, the safety car was quite good because it gave us all a little bit of a rest. It was getting quite hot out there.
Good position, another good podium, so we're piling those points up a bit.
A little bit. I think I have to be quite thankful for the safety car, because after the safety car I started running out of fuel. My fuel was surging, so I was misfiring coming out the corners. So I think if the safety car hadn't have happened, I would have been even further down the order. So I was pretty defenceless after the safety car, because the car was coughing and spluttering at McLean's and Coppice, which was a pity, but I had to take that on the chin.
Is this because as a racing driver you sort of fine-tune how many litres of fuel you think you'll need and so forth as you go out there?
Yeah, generally speaking, we weigh the fuel and put in what we think we need, and today I've made a mistake on that, which is a pity.
Jack, fantastic race there. What a battle towards the end.
After the safety car, we all sort of bunched up. I saw the top three. They were battling, tossing and turning. I was in the slipstream. I was trying my absolute hardest. I was looking in my rearview mirror. James, he was right there with me. I was thinking, is he going to go for a move? Is he not? We sort of stayed there, and it got to last lap, last corner through the chicane. Josh got he was backed up by the cars in front, and I just got a good exit out the side, and me and James just went through, and I got third, which I couldn't believe.
Great feeling. That's your first, isn't it? Your first podium there?
First podium of MG Trophy in the first season.
So you got that monkey off your back. So Snetterton next. Who knows?
You never know.
James, another class win. Fairly straightforward race for you there.
Yeah, a bit easier than yesterday. Unfortunately, Paul couldn't compete today with mechanical issues, so it was me, John and Guy, so it was good fun still.
Hot weather out there, very testing on driver and machine.
It was worse on the or in the assembly area, waiting in the car, but once we're out on circuit, you just kind of forget about the heat and just sort of concentrate on what you're doing.
What about when the safety car slows you all down and so forth? Could you just open a window or what?
I open both windows, just get some breeze in the car and try and cool the car down and myself a bit, but yeah.
Everything got fairly spaced out pre-safety car, didn't it? So it made it a little bit more exciting towards the end.
Yes, it was me and two 170s, and there was quite a big gap to the rest of the train of cars, so that gave me a chance just to cool myself down as well, which is nice.
An amended result as Sam Kirkpatrick adjudged to have unsafely rejoined the track. So Doug Cole, the winner from Adam Jackson, with Sam in third. Tyler Ballard winning the 170s from Fergus Campbell, and Jack Chapman in third ahead of Josh Bacon on the line. Class C victory goes to James Morton, with John Donnelly and Guy Tolley completing the podium in the standard power class. The championship standings with one round to go look like this. Sam Kirkpatrick has done enough to become champion. Classes B and C still to be decided. Fergus Campbell second overall from James Dennison and Tyler Ballard, and James Morton heading Class C. But our warmest congratulations to 2021 MG Trophy champion Sam Kirkpatrick. We look forward to your company next time for the final races of the year from Snetterton.